don't know the rules around copyright yet. But this is me showing which ones I think would look good to go see at the Scotland Loves Anime weekend that's in Glasgow. And hopefully we'll find some good ones to go watch. Last year I think we seen one, the year before that we seen two, and one of them was accidentally One Piece, which, no hate to the One Piece fans, it's not personally for me. So yeah, we're just gonna go watch and see which ones. So we will not be watching the clips, but I will have a screenshot of which ones we decided to look through and rank, just because of copyright. But if you wanted to do this for next year, what you would do is just look up the Scotland Loves Anime. You would pick the cinema that's the closest to you, or the theatre that's closest to you, and you can see here our theatre had 3 viewings per day, so 3 on a Friday, 3 on a Saturday, 3 on a Sunday, and we basically said we'd max see 1 per day. And that leaves us The Colours Within, Trapezium, Ghost Cat Anzu, The Birth of Kirato, and Look Back. So we'll see which ones I go and see, I guess. I'm going to go send these over to Ross and see which ones he would like to see. Because if he doesn't want to go see The Birth of Kirato, I actually might go see that with one of my friends who quite likes the horror animes. But yeah, I will update you. So this is my final ranking, the definitely being, regardless of if someone comes with me, I'm going to see it. It looked amazing. The next one being hopefully, as in like hopefully a friend comes with me and I'll go see it. And then waiting for them to come out online because they clashed with the ones that I wanted above them. And then probably Miss just wasn't my thing, but if I did happen to see them online, I probably would watch them. And then the bottom 2 were not my thing at all. So I will be missing them. So for the Friday, we did go and see The Birth of Kirato. My friend did want to come. We both agreed it's very Parasite-like. I would give it a solid 8 out of 10. It is up my alley, although I have some questions. Who is the eyeball? Does anyone know? I don't want to Google it and ruin it for myself, and I'm almost 100% sure who it is, but I need more closure on that. So on Saturday, we went and seen The Colours Within, which was my top pick. Beforehand, we did go and get dessert from this little dessert place. Look how cute that is. That's cheesecake. We also didn't realise until arriving there that there was a Q&A session after the movie with Naoko Yamada and Kensuke Ushio, which was so exciting. And honestly, we were debating even before it because we were like, oh, we didn't plan to see this. But 10 out of 10 experience. They were so genuinely funny and like nice people to be around, I feel. Like, is that too projection-y that I think that they're nice people because they were funny? But they also happen to love Scotland. So I'm going to project that onto them, that they must be lovely people. I'm going to put a timestamp here to the end of the Q&A for anyone who does want to skip it. But I would highly recommend watching it. They had so much like enthusiasm between them, and the guests did such an amazing job translating both from English and Japanese. And then the interpreter did such a fantastic job like getting their emotions and getting their like reactions in on the translation. And I just think that they all had fun. So I didn't feel right editing out or cutting out any part of the interaction, because I just feel like you'd lose the spark in it if I did that. And also I feel like I'd either be censoring out the interpreter, who did a great job and was funny, or I'd be censoring out the stars, and that also didn't feel right. So anyway, here's basically a full unedited version of the Q&A. I'm just going to upload it, and if you want to skip that, then skip to the end. But yeah, it is long because again, it's Naoko or Kensuke speaking in Japanese and then having to be translated for the parts that they're not speaking in English. So it just has to be, because I thought that they were amazing and I don't want to edit it out. So, but yeah, if you want to skip to the end, the timestamp's right there.
Came up with the idea for the soft version of Born Slipping.
You like it? Is it okay? I'm so nervous. Because you guys are already, so let me speak a lot. So I'm really nervous and a bit scared because you guys might notice the whole music is heavily inspired from the you guys' music, from the UK music, especially in the back in 80s new wave music, like a New Order or something. And I have decided to use the Bon Sweepy. So for me, it's a kind of the returning home because I am heavily inspired from your music back in my teenage years. So your response was so touching. Thank you so much.
Location of the story, you don't specifically say it's set in Nagasaki, but the trams and the churches and even the light makes me think that's where it was. Was there a location hunt, and where did you actually go?
はい、そうですね、この作品、確かにおっしゃる通り、長崎がモデルになっています。日本の、すごく南の方の島なんですけど、この作品でトツコがミッションスクールに行っているという設定があったので、そこに合う土地っていうのを探していました。そして長崎というのは日本にとってもすごく特別な土地で、とてもキリスト教に関する歴史がすごく深く残っているので、この作品にとても合うんじゃないかなというふうに思いまして、ロケーションハンティングしに来ました。そしていざ行ってみると、本当に美しい光の色と美しい海の色と、あとすごく心の優しい人たちに会うことができて、この作品で何を描いていくかっていう、この作品で描いていきたいものというのが長崎に詰まっていたので、長崎を選びました。
Yeah, as you say, it was modelled on Nagasaki, which is on an island in the south, very south of Japan. And that came about because Totsuko attends a mission school, and I was thinking, where should this school be? And for Japanese, Nagasaki has a special place. It has a very deep history of Christianity that you can still see today, and so I thought that Nagasaki would be suited to this school and as a location for the film. So I went there on a location hunt, and when I went there, I encountered the beautiful colour of the light and the beautiful colour of the sea and all these kind people, and it kind of helped me to cement what it was that I wanted to say in this film.
You said modelled on Nagasaki. You didn't say that this was Nagasaki.
So
is there a reason why? Because normally in modern anime, in particular, there's all of this Seichi Holy Land tourism. You get local tourist boards coming in and saying, "Oh, please set your film here." But you're not specifically stating this is Nagasaki. I wonder if there's a reason for that.
そうですね、長崎、そうですね、その街のロケーションを使って商品化するというか、そういうお客さんを呼ぶっていうのは私がやる作品がやる必要はなくて、その街の人たちがやってくれるというところがあるのかなと思うし、作品としては本当にこの作品の中の世界だけにフォーカスして実際にあるかもしれない街というふうに描きたかったので、そうですね、その作品を好きになってくださった方が実際にその土地に訪れたいなと思ってくれたらそれが一番嬉しいけれども、あまり作品の方からコマーシャルする必要がないかなというか、あまりそういったことしない方がむしろ見ている方も作品の中の世界、この架空の世界に夢中になってもらえるんじゃないかなと思っています。
I don't like to use a location as a product or to boost tourism, as you say. I don't think I need to do that. I think the people there can do that for themselves. The place can sell itself. I want the world of the film to be the focus of the film, and maybe it's a place that exists in real life. And if people who love the film want to know where that is and want to go and find the place, and that's great, but I don't think I need to make it commercial in that way. I think it's better that the audience is able to absorb themselves in the fictional world of the film.
And Mr. Ushio, forgive me for phrasing it in this way, but apart from getting a free trip, why would you bring a music director on a location hunt?
No, nothing. It's a joke. I'm kidding. So we're speaking Japanese. ちょっと違う視点のところから、話をスタートしたいと思います。僕と山田さんと仕事をするときは、かなり制作の初期段階、脚本が上がったぐらいのタイミングで、コンセプトワークといって2人っきりになってもとにかく、ディスカッションを重ねる時間というのがあります。すべてのスタッフにも出て行ってもらって、アートブックを紐解いたりとか、絵画を見たり、建築の写真見たり、詩を読んだりとかってして、この作品は何であるかっていうののコアコンセプトを決める会議があって、でそれをもうね、本当に言語によらない、言葉によらないコミュニケーションなので、説明するのが難しいんですが、無理やり言葉にすると、この作品では場、feel, the space, room, place、場が必要だと思いました。
So I'm going to start from a different starting point to answer your question. When I work with Yamada-san, in the very early stages, we always, even before there are any storyboards, once we have a script, we do what we call concept work. And the two of us will be in a room, none of the other team members there, and we will take time to discuss the core concepts behind this film. And we will look at art and photographs of architecture and read poetry. And a lot of the communication that we have goes beyond words, which means that it's quite hard to explain. But if I were to try to explain what we came up with as a core concept here, it was the idea of place or space.
彼女たちが長い時間を過ごす古い木造の教会だったりとか、トツコが、祈りを捧げる時間の多い教会などの場は、正確にこれは映画の中に取り込まないといけないと思ったので、実際のロケーションにいて、ここでロケーションの意味が出てくるんですが、実際にロケーションを判当して、教会の構造を、音響測定をしてですね、技術的に言うとインパルスレスポンスっていうんですが、どういうふうに音が響くかを全てコンピューター上で再現できるようなデータを採取してきたんですね。でこれが一つコンセプトから導き出された、私がロケハンに行く大きな理由の一つでした。で同時に教会に行くと、古い木造の教会です。しかも、海のすぐ近くに立っているので、たくさんの雑音が鳴っていて、床のきしむ音だったり、風が窓枠を叩く音だったり、いろんな音がしていて、そういうののサウンド判当して、リアルな音、リアルな場所をこの映画にキャプチャーしようという意味合いがあって、ロケハンに書きました。
The old wooden church where they spend so much of their time, and the church where Totsuko goes to pray, I felt like we needed to be able to feel those spaces in the film. And so, back to the location hunt, I went along on the location hunt and tried to measure the acoustics of the space of that church structure using impulse response, gather that data around the acoustics so that I would be able to replicate the sound of the church electronically. And that's the main reason that I went. But then also, when I was there, because it was an old wooden church and it was by the sea, there were all these sounds like the squeak of the floorboards and the rattling of the windows in the wind. And I hunted down these sounds and captured them so that I could use the real sounds of the church in the film.
そう付け足すと、最後にルイ君を見送るときにかかっている曲には、彼女たちが練習中に鳴らしたであろう床の音、壁の音、椅子の音みたいな、教会で取れる彼女たちの雑音がパーカッションとして取り込まれています。
The song at the end, when they're saying goodbye to Rui and seeing him off, that actually uses those sounds, the sounds of the space where they spent so much time together, the floorboards and the chair and the windows as percussion.
You mentioned recording the sound of an ambient space. So that's room tone. That's what we
Yes, it's kind of. So we need a sweep sound with a digital tone and record that, and then we can model as an interpretator.
Is that precedented in Japanese? And has that been done by other Japanese productions, or is this something that's specific to you?
Because I am quite otaku. There are many data centers selling by the company itself, like a big French church impulse response data, or some kind of wooden church and some kind of island from the company, but no one does the capture. It's by the composer themselves. So I had no idea about the name rather than me. So
That is quite
in this area, I'm a top-notch otaku, you know.
You understand, Totsuko's peculiarity is introduced very early in the film. It then goes unmentioned for about 40 minutes, but I think I detected like different tints in certain scenes that sort of subtly repeated it. Was there did you consider at the beginning maybe having more of her synesthesia, or whatever you want to call it, and did you kind of dial it down deliberately?
素敵な質問ありがとうございます。その前答える前に一つだけすごく気になって仕方がないことがあるので一個質問してもいいですか。
Thank you for the lovely question. There's something I need to ask first. Actually, it's really
さっきから
playing on my mind.
これがずっと気になってて、これはこの映画が面白くなかった時にみんなからこう缶とか瓶とか投げられるのを受けるための優しさだって置いてあったりする。これグラスゴースタイルですか？
There's an umbrella here. Is this because people tend to throw things? Is this something to protect myself from
Yes, it is.
glasses and hands?
Fortunately, not happening yet.
You wouldn't believe the trouble we have with some audiences. Yeah.
No barrier for the man. Maybe fast.
Yeah.
私の分だけ。
Don't worry.
Yeah,
If
just
there's any trouble, just like put it up. You'll be
So, as I said earlier, be kind.
I love Glasgow.
Actually, when we went to the park this morning, seriously find out the rent fee in the park area. 家賃を調べて looking for the rent fee.
It's true, yes. She was asking how much rents are in Glasgow.
I mean, we could probably find you somewhere relatively cheap. Yeah. Andrew's got a spare room.
Andrew has an extra room.
よろしくお願いします。そう、ごめんなさい、質問答えますね。
Sorry, there was a question. I will answer it.
そう、トツコの色ですね。この映画はトツコのそうです。トツコが色を感じるというふうに描いているお話なんですけれども、これは決してトツコの特殊能力として描きたかったわけではなくて、ただ彼女が生きていく上でのルールの一つとして描こうと思っていました。なので、この色が見える、色を感じることによって何か問題が起きたり、何か世界が終わりそうになったり、なんかそういった要素ではないというふうに思っていて、ただ生きていくためのルールで、なので最初にそういったお話を皆さんにお客さんに理解していただいてからは、あとはトツコがきっとこういうふうに世界を見ているんだろうなっていうことを皆さんのイマジネーションを膨らましながらこう感じていただきたいなという思いがありました。でなのでそうですね、もう見ている方のイマジネーションを信じているっていうところが一つあるのと、あとはトツコの見ている世界をイメージとして描きながらも、あとはこの作品世界の中にある色も美しくすることによって トツコと気持ちをこう共有してもらう、見ている人に共有してもらうというふうな描き方をしていこうと思いました。
The story, in the story, Totsuko can feel colours, but I didn't want that to be some kind of special power that she has. It's just the rules that she lives her life by, and her feeling of colours doesn't cause any big problems. The world isn't going to end. It's not something that's like that. It's just the way she is and the way that she lives. And I thought that if I shared this and explained it to the audience at the beginning, then after that they would get it. They'd know how her world looks and be able to use their imaginations. And I believe in the audience's imagination. And at the same time, in order to try and help the audience share her view of the world a bit, I tried to make the colours that I used beautiful, like they are for her.
And Ushio-san, this may sound like a weird question, but did you consider the colour of music?
私たちはなぜオタクエピソードオタクエピソードなんですかね、技術的な話なんですが、すごく色の音というのをとても意識した作品で、山田さんからどうにか色を音で作ってくれないかということを言われまして、で考えたんですが、ノイズという音楽用語があって、ザーっていうなんかこう楽音ではない音なんですが、その中にホワイトノイズというのがありまして、これは、光の色三原則のように全ての音の周波数を含むと白になるっていうものなんですね。なのでこれは逆に言えばフィルターを青の部分だけを通すフィルターを作ってあげるとブルーノイズが出る、グリーンノイズが出る。このフィルターというのはコーヒーのフィルターみたいなもので、それだけをこう透過するものなんですが、ブルーノイズとかグリーンノイズとかレッドノイズが出るので、トツコが色を見るときにそれぞれの色のノイズが出て、最後トツコが見えたって言って自分の色というか光を見るときに全てが合わさって白いノイズが鳴るというふうな構成になっています。とても技術的な話なんですが、色をどうにか
ちょっと待って、通訳のために。
Sorry?
通訳のために。
So sorry.
Go for it, Beth.
All right.
You can do it.
Yeah. It's a bit technical. So, I was very aware of the sound of colour, and it's something that Yamada-san asked me to think about to see if I could work into the film. So I thought about it, and when you have that fizzing sound, that noise that's not music, there's what we call white noise. And white noise, when you combine all the different frequencies of light, you get white. When you combine all the frequencies of sound, you get white noise, which means that you can filter out the different colours from that using something like a coffee filter that only lets that particular colour of sound through. So you can filter out the blue noise, the green noise, the red noise. And I used those different colour sounds when Totsuko is feeling the different colours. And then when she sees her own colour, when she finally sees her own colour at the end, then after that we get the white, which is the overlapping of all the different colours and sounds.
Okay, was there more?
Yes.
Strap in.
If you want more, please tap the read more button from here. It's okay. I'm done.
Okay, I'm almost disappointed now. Okay, Yamada-san, my favourite moment in the whole film, which I think is probably a very you moment, is when you get a brushstroke going across the screen and creating a single line which turns into the cliffs. It's a very artistic moment. It has a lot of what animators call materiality, where it shows off the fact that this is animated. What was your purpose with that? And do you feel that you look at the world in a different way because you are always planning to animate it?
ありがとうございます。私もシーンはすごく好きです。とても、アニメーションはそのイマジネーションをどこまでも広げることができる技術だし、それをどこまで自分ができるだろうかっていつも思いながらなんていうんでしょう、挑戦しているんですけれども、そう言っていただいているシーンはとても心象的なシーンというか、イメージだと思ったら実は実景だったみたいな、少し見ている方の脳を騙すようなトリックを使っているシーンかなと思うんですけど、実際でも私は作品を作るときは、アニメーターとして作品を作るときは、アーティストというよりは、そうですね、もっとポピュラーな感覚、なんというか、たくさんの人と気持ちを共有できるように、見ている方と一緒に同じものが、同じ色だったり同じ空だったりを見れるように、そうですね、みんなと同じ目で世界を見るということを実はとても大事にしています。ただ個人的な山田直子としては少し人が想像しないようなものを作り出してみたいというチャレンジもしたい気持ちもある。なのでみんなと同じものを見ようと思う気持ちと、誰も思いつかないようなことを思いつきたいというその欲望とが両方混ざり合っているし、ずっと共有し続けているような気がしています。はい。
Thank you. I really like that scene as well. And animation for me is about how far you can expand the imagination, and that's something I'm always trying to do and something I'm always experimenting with. And that scene is symbolic because what you think that you're seeing something abstract, and it turns out that you're seeing something real. It's a trick, if you like. When I'm working as an animator, rather than as an artist, I suppose, I'm trying to make something that the audience is going to be able to share. So I want to be seeing the same colours as the audience and the same sky as the audience. I want us to be sharing the same experience of the world. But as myself, as Naoko Yamada, I also want to be creating something that no one has imagined before. So at the same time, I'm trying to see the same as everyone else, but I also have that desire to come up with something that no one else has seen. And I think those two are mixed together.
いつそのアーティストの作品見れるの？いつそのアーティストとしての作品見れるかな？
おばあちゃんになるまでには何か作りたいです。
When are we going to see something made by Naoko Yamada, the artist?
This is
Maybe by the time I get alot.
Yeah, we've run into this problem on the recorded interview we did earlier on today. When they start shouting at each other, Bethan has to do little hand puppets to show who's talking. Just so you know.
Okay, so go ahead.
Done it now.
Okay.
Now, I've got loads more questions to ask about why theremins and not bagpipes, for example. Something to bear in mind for the future. About dodgeball, about all kinds of things. I'm going to ask one more question to Mr. Ushio, and then I'm going to throw it to the audience and leave it to you until you bore me, in which case I will return to my questions. But Mr. Ushio, so there's one for you from me, and then we're going to throw it out to the crowd, and then we'll need the umbrella. I get the feeling Andrew will throw himself in front of you.
Himself?
Yeah.
Too heavy. I cannot catch him.
It's not going well. Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Right, okay, here we go. I get the feeling that, so many anime today, but ever since Netflix started cutting the credits, anime music has been stuck in the middle of the film much more often. And so I get the feeling that a lot of writers are just saying, put a really amazing song here, we'll leave that to you. But what we have here is amateur musicians. I presume you're being asked to write a song that reflects a quite raw, uneducated quality almost. How do you go about that?
So the first question, there's great music here, and it's great. It's real. 本当に起こるんですけど。
Well, someone did that to you on
Yes.
Yeah. Who was that director?
でも、それやるしかないので頑張るんですけども。
But I don't have much choice, so I just had to go ahead and write it.
Yeah. そうで、2つ目の質問に関しては、最初に言った通り僕80年代のイギリスのニューウェーブとかにすごく影響を受けていて、でものすごい素晴らしい音楽だと思うし、すごいセンスだと思う一方で、技術的にうまいかどうかってもう全然関係ないんですよね。で当時のミュージシャンって本当に一本の指で演奏しているような人いるし、今実際のアーティストの名前を言おうとしたけどやめました、はい、なんですけど演奏が上手いミュージシャンばっかりじゃないし、で僕もそういう音楽に影響を受けて音楽をいつも作ってるので、そんなテクニカルなことを普段からしないし、なんかすごくその影響を素直に出そう、自分が好きなものを素直に好きっていうのってすごく大事な、このアニメで映画でも言ってる大事なことだと思うので、それを素直に出した結果なのであんまり苦労しなかったですね。
As for the second part of your question about the amateur musicians, I mentioned earlier that I've been really influenced by 80s British new wave music, and on the one hand I think it's amazing, on the other hand I mean it doesn't really matter whether they're good technically or not. Some of them are playing with just one finger, and I thought about saying who, but I won't do that. But they're not all really good musicians.
You can totally tell them, they don't mind. Don't worry, you're not going to get into trouble. If you don't tell them, I will, so you can...
I'm not saying. Okay, but they're not all really good musicians, and that's been a huge influence on my work, and because I'm true to that. And I think it's important, if you like something, to say you like it. That's an important message behind the film as well. And so it came quite naturally to me to write those pieces.
I can't...
はい、sorry. でもそう言ってるけど、なんかでも本人はどうしよう、プロっぽい音楽になっちゃうって言って悩んでました。
悩んでた。
He says that, but he did struggle. I mean, he did say, well, this is going to sound way too professional.
彼プロフェッショナル。
He is a professional.
なんと青い月曜日を迎えたかわかりません。
He didn't actually say, he said Blue Mondays, but he said it in Japanese.
Yeah. But once you know about the Blue Mondays, you can't unhear the drums at the beginning of the first song of the concert. We were outside in the bar waiting for and we're like, where are we in the film? And we heard the opening drums of the Blue. It's Blue Monday, right?
Blue Monday, yeah.
New Order. Yeah. Is it New Order?
I can share. Okay.
それはでもルイ君が
そう。いや、ルイ君 has composed that.
そう。
Not me.
かっこいい音楽はどんどん時代を超えて、時代をこう巡ってニューオーダーだってブルーマンデーだって私たちの世代よりもっと昔の世代です、それでもめちゃくちゃかっこいいと思って生きてきたし、それを次にルイ君の世代がかっこいいと思って、でまたそれを聞いた次の若い子の映画を見た人たちがかっこいいと思ってくれるっていうのが一番理想ですね。はい。
But this is the music that Rui likes. He wrote that piece. He thinks it's cool. Cool music is cool, regardless. New Order, Blue Monday, that's before my time, but I still think it's really cool. And Rui obviously thinks it's cool. That's another generation. And then anyone seeing this film, hopefully, ideally, is going to think, oh, this music is really cool, even though it's several generations before them.
すごい今いいことがあって、外で待ってたら、 この映画を見た親子連れのお父さんが声をかけてくれまして、ボーンスリッピーとかブルーマンデーみたいなのがかかった時に、若いやつらが反応してない、俺は最高だったけど若いやつらが反応してないから、これはすごいエデュケーショナルだって言ってくれて、ね、教育用なんじゃないかこの映画はって言ってくれてね、すごくいい反応だなと思いました。
Actually, when I was waiting back there to come down, there was a dad who brought a kid to this film, and he came up to me and he said, "Oh, Blue Born Slippy and Blue Monday. The young people didn't respond to any of that." He said, "I thought it was great, but the young people weren't responding. This is a very educational movie."
I have to say, watching Betham deal with these two is like watching her trying to control a couple of squirrels. You just can't stop them. Okay, so I will throw this open to the crowd. If anyone in the crowd has you, sir, you're first in line. Go for it.
Oh my God. Hello, Yamada-san. My question is, sort of at the beginning of the movie, we see that incident happen when they're playing volleyball or something, and that sort of happened right before, I've forgotten the name of the character who gets excluded or leaves school. And I think it's interesting that Kimi-san, and we never sort of find out why she decides to leave or is made to leave, or even whether it's one of those or the other is left unexplained. And I sort of felt when I was watching the end of the movie, where we sort of see her and her friends return to the school to carry the performance out, you get the sort of feeling that there's a lot of resolutions going on, obviously, for all the different characters, and the focus, of course, is mostly on Totsuko-chan when she sees her own colour, but then you also get the sense that there's a sort of happiness for like a happiness for Kimi-chan as well, but because we don't know what happened, that's sort of left unclear. Was there a sort of reason you decided to sort of make that vague and focus on other stories happening?
Yeah.
そうですね。はい。結論から言うとはいですね。この作品すごく確かに気になるかもしれないですね。なんですけどすごく優しすぎる子たちのお話を描いていて、お互いがお互いの心に土足で踏み込んでいかない子たちのお話です。なのでこの映画を撮る側としてもカメラマンとしても彼らの知られたくない部分にあまり土足で踏み込みたくなかったというのがあります。なんですけど彼女キミちゃんはすごく感じやすい子だし、自分に自信のない子なんですが、ものすごく周りからの期待もとても大きくて、それが自分の評価、自分の中の評価とうまく噛み合っていない子なんですね。それがすごく彼女の重荷になってしまって学校から逃げてしまうという形にはなっていますが、キミちゃんがあまりそれを知られたくなさそうだったのでカメラを向けないようにしています。もしよかったら小説が出ているのでそちらにいろいろ書かれているから、もし興味があったら小説版をぜひお読みください。
The short answer is I deliberately left that unclear. But I can see why you would be interested to know. And this story is about 3 young people who are too kind. And they don't want to tread on each other's feelings or other people's feelings. And so for me, as the camera operator, I didn't want to tread on their feelings either. I didn't want to show what they didn't want to show. In Kimi's case, she lacks confidence, she's very sensitive. There are some very high expectations of her, which don't fit with with the way that she views herself, and that weighs her down, and that's why in the end she leaves school. But I don't think Kimi wants us to see that, and so I decided to not to focus the camera on that. However, there is a novel, and if you're interested to know more, then I suggest you read that.
Great promotion.
Here in the middle left, right at the front. Easy for the microphone to get there.
I was really surprised when we found out Totsuko's color was red. I mean, in a lot of the movies, she's in like a white sort of tone. I mean, were you tempted to give hints, or did you try to sort of deliberately hide her true color in a way?
アクセスして聞いてみたいんですけど、どうだったんでしょう。ヒント、でもこうそのキミちゃんが青でルイくんが緑でトツコが赤っていうことを最後に知った時に、注意深く見ているとこれは光の三原色を描いているんだと気づいてくれる人がいると思ったんです。で、その光の三原色はこうその3色が重なった部分が真っ白になる、それがすごく素晴らしい特徴で、この作品はその白くなる部分にその無限の未来だったり希望を見出して描いていこうと思ったんですね。でなのでその全体的な画面を見ていただけるとこうどうも光を大事に描いている作品だなと少し気づいてくださる方がいたとしたら、それがヒントになってくるのかなと思うし、自分の個人的な思いとしてはトツコが赤だったんだと最後に知った時に、あれじゃあもう一回この映画を見てみよう、そしたらもっと面白いかもって思ってもらいたかったのかもしれない、何度も見てほしいなと思って、書きました。やってます。
So I'm just trying to access my past self, the me of 2 years ago when I was writing the storyboards, to try and remind myself what I was trying to do. But I think in terms of clues to her colour, the clue is there, because when we find out that we know that Kimi is blue and Rui is green, and when we find out that Totsuko is red, some of you might have noticed that those are the 3 basic colours of light. And when those 3 colours overlap, you get white, which is a very special colour in this film, where it represents a kind of eternal future and hope. So if you were looking at the film as a whole, you might have noticed how important light is, and if you had noticed that, that might have given you the clue as to Totsuko's colour. But if you were surprised when you saw that Totsuko was actually red, then maybe that makes you want to go back and watch it again and see if you can look for those clues, which is great. I want people to watch it over and over.
And that opportunity does await you in Edinburgh. Time for one more question. Somewhere over. Oh yes, you there. You yes. See if you can get it out before the microphone gets to you.
Yamada-san, hi. That was such a beautiful movie, and I truly believe that you're one of the greatest directors of our generation. You make incredible films. I've waited a long time to ask you this question because I've watched a lot of your movies and everything you've ever made. But when you're watching a Yamada-san film, often you focus a lot on body language. The camera focuses on hands and legs and the intricate way that the body moves, and I would love to know your thought process behind that and the way that you create emotion through just body. It often speaks more than words do. Thank you for creating this movie, it was amazing.
ありがとうございます。本当に。いや、ありがとうございます。そうですね、ボディーランゲージ、私はアニメーションっていうのは、本当に動きを使って何かを表現する素晴らしい表現方法だと思うし、あと動きの他に音だったり色だったり、いろんな言葉ではない言語でこうものを伝えていける技法だと思っていて、私がこうやってボディーランゲージをたくさん使うのはきっと日本で作っているアニメーションではあるんですが、こう国を越えていろんな国の方に見ていただいた時に、言葉が通じなくてもその動きで何か感情だったりその映画のリズムだったり音だったりを伝えることができるんじゃないかと信じていて、なのですごくそうですね、大切にして、とても大切にしている、そういった理由でもう一つ理由のその一つとして大切にしています。今すごくこう初めて軽音でグラスゴーに来て、一緒に皆さんとこの映画を軽音をグラスゴーで一緒に見たその時の感動がずっと忘れられなくて、でいつもだからその気持ちがずっと残っていて、こう映画だったり作品を作るたびにこうまたグラスゴーに戻ってこれるように世界の、日本から外に出た時の人たちにちゃんと楽しんでもらえるようにみたいなことをずっと考えながら作品を作っていて、なので今の質問していただいたことにそういうともつながっていきます。ちょっとややこしくなってきちゃったんですけど、本当にありがとうございます。
I think animation is this amazing way of using movements to express things and sound and colour, but languages that don't involve using words. And I think that's why I use a lot of body language. Also because even though this is made in Japan, I believe that once it leaves Japan, it goes out to other countries and people see it there. The body language and these things that go beyond words are a way of getting across the feeling and the rhythm and the sound of the film, even though we don't share the same language, and that's important to me. And actually your question connects to the very first time that I came here to Glasgow with the film K-On! The movie, and I can't forget the experience that I had watching that with all of you, and how moved I was by that experience, and that stayed with me. And now every film, every show that I make, I'm always hoping that I can make something that people outside of Japan are going to enjoy, so that I get to come back to Glasgow. So thank you.
I might be a little biased here because I did love their previous work together on Silent Voice, but I would genuinely give this a 9.5, if not a 10 out of 10. Silent Voice is still my preference if I was to watch either of these again, but I think that they captured the essence of like those characters being young and like forming a band and like the awkward interactions on stage. And I think, yeah, I would watch it again in a heartbeat. So the Q&A was just, maybe the Q&A was biased as well. Again, a little extra cherry on top, I guess. After we got out, we were a little hungry, so we went and got sushi and ramen from Maki and Ramen, and that's it. Thank you for watching the video if you came this far. Thank you if you've watched the entire Q&A. I really appreciate it. Again, I'm sure you can see the chemistry that they have because they've worked on so many projects together. But yeah, I'll see you all soon. Goodbye.